2012 meeting of the Goffstown Sewer Commission. To my right is Collis Adams, Selectman Representative, Ellen Noyes, Administrative Assistant, Jim Bouchard, Commissioner, Steve Crean, Commissioner, Kathy Hooton, Commissioner. And I'll call the meeting to order. The first thing under new business is 3 Bailey Court. That's been taken care of. I guess the next one is 2 South Mass, map 34, lot 29, the new Cumberland Farms, which is the old Exxon station. And I guess the question is the treatment units, a sewer accessibility fee.
The new developer came in and gave us a $5,000 connection fee. But I wanted to check with you, the new building is bigger. The new building is 2,976 feet. And the demolished building was 1,736. And Mike Yurgo and I had talked about it a little while ago, that I want your recommendation as to whether they need another $5,000 connection fee, or if we need to charge them 2 more treatment units for that's what the the unit flow figures stipulate for a service station or a retail building, a store building.
They're gonna be doing gas and...
What happened was, when originally it was a gas station and a 3-stall bay full service station, it was assessed at one for accessibility fee, 1 treatment unit. When it was converted to a removal of the bays and converted to a Dunkin' Donuts and a store, there was no, the owner did not file for a change of use permit, which were brought it up to 2 treatment units. And now with the new construction and a new building, which is based on square footage, technically it goes up to 3 treatment units.
That's based upon the square footage?
Based on the square footage of the building.
And the use of the building.
So there was a point in time where a change of use permit should have been issued, and it wasn't, and that would have brought it up to 2 treatment units. And with the size of the building now, it's gonna be up to 3 treatment
Well, we can't recap what happened.
You're not recapping,
on
so...
the 2, but we have
so
to
he
treat it
gave-
as a new one. The building's been demoed.
Yep, so what they did was they gave an accessibility fee for 1 treatment unit to bring it up to the 3, from the 2 to the 3.
Okay,
Yeah, but they only owned 1 in the beginning,
right.
No, they've been getting charged for 1 all along.
Yeah, but
so they really bought,
About 1.
somewhere they got a free one.
They got a free one because this is, because the change of use was never issued, or he never applied for the change of use.
all right, but it was still treated as 1 treatment unit and billed as such, but now we have 3 treatment units. So
3 it is.
therefore, the net increase is 2 treatment units.
Right, they gotta buy 2 more.
1 more.
Then 1 more, they've already paid for 1
I
more.
do have
Okay,
one extra.
that's what I meant, so
Yeah.
they have to buy another one above and beyond the one they just bought, for a total of 3.
Because I figured, well, I didn't figure, but because there was a miss 10, 12 years ago, there was a miss.
It doesn't make any difference. I mean, as simple as is that there was 1 treatment that ran with, that was been running with the land, and now, and based on the use, it requires 3, and 2 more have to be bought.
Right. And if they paid for it when they were supposed to 10 years ago, it would have been half of what it is now, so.
Which was a different owner.
Yes, I
Yeah.
say different owners.
But just for everyone's information, cause what we do is we take the standard design for septic flows. It's like for a bedroom, it's 150 gallons. For office space, it's 15 gallons for every 100 square feet, and so on and so forth, so on and so forth. And that's how we establish the accessibility fee, which is currently $5,000
Treatment unit.
a treatment unit, which a treatment unit figures out to around 450 gallons. In other words, a treatment unit would be a 3-bedroom house. So they going from 1 treatment unit to 3, so it'd be $10,000 connection fee. Everybody,
I'm in agreement with that.
I'm in agreement with that. I was just gonna, Ellen probably needs to write get a letter to them and notify them accordingly.
Here they came in for a sewer permit for the new one. So what you wanna do is you wanna put,
Or they will,
because on the permit, it's gonna say how many treatment units are on it.
So we want to make sure it says 3.
Yeah, it's gonna say 3, then you're gonna have to put before, payment before CO.
What size, I see the green pipes there, what size are they, 6 inch?
6 inch.
And does the building inspector normally talk to you before he issues the final CO to make sure that everything's been taken care of?
Well, we hopefully that will show the secretary.
Yeah, well, no, if we have an issue like that, we tell them, you know,
Okay.
not to issue one until.
Okay.
It was just like the little house down on Mass Road they just built, they didn't put an invert in. So he just called last week because he's like, I can't get a CO. So, yeah, we work with them pretty regularly.
Now, why doesn't somebody make a motion just to make it official?
Go ahead.
I'll make a motion that we issue a letter of response back to the landowner noting that the change of use goes from 1 treatment unit, which is run with the land, to 3 treatment units. Therefore, the total increase is 2 treatment units, of which 1 has already been funded, so he's required to pay for another treatment unit on the sewer accessibility fee
Before CO is issued.
before CO is issued.
I second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, the lien letter, is that kind of like the one you send out every year?
no, this is something that I wanted to get your approval on, if you would. Gail and I have been noticing that as the years go by, and with the economy being what it is, it takes longer and longer for people to pay their arrears, and more people are going into lien. And the letter sample that I've given you there is one that I would like for you to look at, approve, edit as you would. And I would change the years and the dates. Some of our people in lien have 2010 and 2011 and are in arrears for this year. And I was thinking that if we get them thinking about a payment plan much earlier in the process, we wouldn't come up against many people scrambling when they really figured out that their property was going to be deeded to the town. We still have 4 accounts left on the 2009 lien. Only one of there are 3 owners, and only one of those owners is actually on a payment plan, so that's a moot point for them, but the other 2 are either just gonna abandon the property or just aren't paying attention still. So we have 25 properties with the 2010 lien, and 2011 lien is still 60 properties. And we have about a little under 150 accounts that are more than 2 quarters overdue. So I'm just wondering if you think this would be a good step to kind of get people starting to think about paying.
Having been a legal collector myself in Concord, New Hampshire, I would just say any outstretched arm that you can give to people to help them come forward with any amount of funds that they can give to show an intent of hopefully paying their bill is usually more productive than the door in your face that says it's closed. So my point would be that I would support the outstretched arm this approach to collect money.
Versus you slammed us, we'll slam you.
Right.
I agree with Kathy's statement. It's just, we've been collectively, Kathy and Ella have been working very hard to get this under control, and you've done a good job on it. Again, it's, information, notice, and it's very succinct, very clear. I really don't have a problem with it.
No?
As you've got it presently drafted and crafted. Let them know that we are humans and we can talk to them, so that's fine.
Because I watch Gail scramble, at the
Yeah.
end with
Yeah.
the taxes, and I mean, those are, so much greater than our fees.
Sure.
But I watch her scramble and talk to people and talk to them and just try to get them to send something.
Well, I mean, this is a good start and everything, and I agree 100%, but
Okay.
you're always gonna get that other thing you're talking about. That's just
Exactly. Exactly.
The nature of the
Nature of
beast,
the
but if
work.
you're proactive.
More proactive.
And get a
That's
little,
for
I
us.
have no problem with it, that's fine.
Okay,
I have a couple of suggestions that I might send to you tomorrow.
please do.
All right,
You want to absorb it first?
this sounds good.
Okay, the IMA meeting date, just for everyone's information, usually once a year, we meet with the city of Manchester, and it's, there's 3 surrounding communities, Londonderry, Bedford, Goffstown. We meet at the treatment plant. We discuss issues that impact all of us, whether it's a new agreement we've been working on, or new EPA rules, or different projects. They give an update on all the projects they're working on. Sometimes it might go 2 or 3 years without a meeting, and then sometimes we might meet 2 or 3 times in a year. I think we've met with a couple times last year because we've been working on this agreement, which I guess is close to being completed. So that is set for December 12th,
December 10th.
December 10th. And what time is that?
I did not note that, 3 o'clock.
I'll say it's typically
3 to
3,
5. It's
3 to
typically
5
3, yeah,
has
3
been
o'clock.
has been the
Did you
typical.
receive the automatic, that's how I heard about it, is
Yeah.
I got a response, sort of one of those automatic, let me know if you can attend this
I
meeting.
may have.
I didn't get one.
Who usually attends those, Steve? I mean, is it
Certainly
full
welcome.
commission, or is there, do you just send representatives?
No, we usually,
Usually, all 3 of us go.
Go.
Some selectmen have gone, some selectmen haven't gone. You're more than welcome. If you have a conflict schedule, whatever, that's.
Londonderry usually
Was the
sends their
selectman at the
DPW
last time?
director
He
and
went.
their assistant town engineer.
Dave Pierce went
Dave
last.
went.
Dave
yeah.
Pierce went last
He
year.
went.
So,
Will you send out a reminder
I will.
at some point? Okay.
It's a little later than usual, I notice.
it's later there, and I think because of the
I
IMA
hope-
agreements,
Yeah, I was hoping that was the case.
so.
Okay, Reed Street and Temple Court. That's done except for the final paving.
Yep, final paving, adjusting the manhole covers, and, because they left some down for the winter.
Where do we stand with him on the funds? He's asking for any extras, or?
No, he hasn't asked for any extras yet. He submitted submitted a invoice last week for a review, and Megan sent him back to him, a couple comments in it. I haven't seen the return yet.
Okay.
TV, the line yet, right?
Was the invoice within budget or was it over budget? It was within budget?
When we get down to final payment, it's gonna be close.
Good. It's nice to hear.
Might be over a few grand, but it's nothing drastic.
So on the paving, are we asking him to do more than what the original deal was, or did it call for trench paving, or was the idea always to begin with the
Tonnage,
pave?
with the addition from the original plan, tonnage came about right.
So the paving was just a line item by the ton, whatever the
It's by
tons
the
come up
ton.
to, that's what we pay him?
We pay them by the ton unit price.
Okay. So everything's, except for the time delay, everything went pretty good?
Yeah, so far, yeah.
And what's over there now, just the binders now?
The binder's down, that's all,
It's set for winter, there's nothing else to do?
nothing else.
Neighbors are satisfied?
I haven't heard any complaints.
Not yet.
I haven't either.
So you got all his stuff out of the way, so for plant winter maintenance and all that?
Oh, he's all
good.
gone.
He's
Equipment's
pulled,
gone,
everything's
gone.
pulled out.
Well, I just wanna make sure he didn't, sometimes they'll leave a trench box on the side of the road or something, until they can haul it to the next job.
Back up, he's got a few minor punch lifts to do.
He's got a couple fences he's gotta fix and things like that, but other than that,
Right,
he's.
very good.
We got our rails put back.
This is the first time we dealt with him.
He works out of the Hampton area
Yeah.
a lot.
He's not a big fan of our ledge, I can tell you that much.
Well, that's not an easy place to work, some of
No.
the
it
local
was
people
tight.
that had worked there before didn't wanna get involved in it.
Right, yeah.
Nancy Connor wrote us a note, thank you for fixing our street.
That's nice.
That's nice, appreciate it.
Yeah, that is nice.
Okay, the ARA project closeout, paving cost and loan status. That's something,
As far as the project work goes, it's like, we're in the process of doing the closeout paperwork. In fact, they've got a document that has a signature line for the sewer commission. It's the certificate of final completion. And there's a place on it for Carl to sign as well. I've signed it and Cardillo has signed it. There's some other documents that are circulating for signature. We have the record drawings pretty much complete, and I just need to do a final review on those. And we'll send those over.
Do you have a final cost?
Yeah, I sent that around by email 2 weeks ago, and I forgot to bring a copy of that with me, unfortunately. But it's,
Was that the one that had the issues with the 99? You had to, the reason that the projected cost, you had responded to Ellen, who said
Right.
that the,
Correct.
and, okay.
correct.
Do you know how close it was to the 2.5 offhand?
Within 30,000.
30,000 less or 30,000
Over.
more?
30,000 less,
30,000 less.
Okay.
Well,
give
it's
or take.
And,
cutting
and,
it pretty close, but
But, you know,
and what did they resolve about the paving issue? It's not part of that? How are they
Well, the
handling that paving?
reality is, there's just not much money left in there within the loan to put towards paving. It's a pretty tiny amount, really. So, I don't know.
well, how much was the additional paving above and beyond the loan?
Oh, gosh, the paving was, 200,000.
Above and beyond the loan?
That's what all these are.
That's what the, oh, these are.
No,
I think it was around 234 or something like that.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
I didn't think that was the amount that was given to us last year by Carl as the projected cost. I don't have that with me tonight, but I'd like to review this against that because,
Well, keep in mind, you're sort of talking about two different things, because the early conversation was, you know, we thought some of it was gonna come out of the loan, so the number he might have given you, even though the cost of the paving remained the same, these might not add up to that number because of what happened to the loan. Now, the town was responsible for some of this, so has the town's portion been subtracted out of this, or how does that work?
the- there are 3 bills that Carl gave me back a while that amounted to about 188,000 at that point. That was to be part of our amount, and that's why I'm bringing it to you.
All right, you got 4 different invoices here.
Right.
$232,829.83.
232,
829.83.
yeah. And how much of that is ours?
I think that was all.
Well,
That's
I
what
brought this issue up a couple of months ago about whether or not Brock's Industry was going to be able to invoice us separately for the work that they did from Rockland Avenue to Daniel Plummer. And the response I got back at that point from DPW was no. They were going to bill the whole thing in its entirety, and we were going to have to figure out what our expense was after we got Brock's invoice. Today, what I understand, if I'm incorrect, is that now you're telling me that that statement that they made 2 months ago changed, and that now now Brock somehow came up with the ability to invoice us separately for just our work?
On this invoice, I mean, Carl's got
No, I don't-
broken
no, I
down
don't
to
think that's
sewer,
Right.
so.
Okay,
One
so,
of them says it, I don't know if you've got the
right
same.
here, it's, yeah,
So,
19,
so I can,
okay.
and we still, and not to get too far off the subject, but what's the story with the painting of the lines? I was told 3 weeks ago by Carl, when I addressed it with Ellen, why aren't the lines painted yet? And his response back to me was, well, maybe they'll get done tonight. And that was the day after I got back from vacation, and that was his response. And 3 weeks have now since gone by. So could somebody explain to me why we don't, even the section that the sewer commission is ours, from Rockland to Daniel Plummer, why haven't those lines been done?
I know they just finished drawing, you'll see the little white lines. That's a crew been out there for the last 2 or 3 weeks, doing the measurement and writing where the lines have to go.
Doing the layout for the line.
Although, I mean, that layout took a couple of weeks, that wasn't, you've got to dodge the traffic in between, so there's been crews out there at night doing all that. And now it's up to the contractor to do the painting, and unfortunately, you can't paint in the rain, you can't paint when it's too cold. So, I mean, it's supposed to be being done, but unfortunately, you know, if it rains for a week, that sets you back a week, and if they're supposed to be somewhere else for a week, you know, but it's not just because they don't want to do it.
No, no, I understand it.
No,
I
but I
just,
mean,
I
that's-
just would like an
but no,
explanation.
just so you know
It's been
that-
like 6 weeks since that they've started chalking that. And I understand that it's rained and everything, but again, we were told that everything was gonna be done by school starting. So,
Well, they also like to have the asphalt cure.
okay.
They don't let it cure.
You gotta wait a couple of
So
weeks.
you gotta wait
Get
for
the
a while.
oils, or even longer is better, because the oils will require it to be restriped again next year. You know, if it's done too soon with the oils in it.
Okay.
Getting back to the paving, we have, what Mike has just said, we basically have no money left in the ARA grant funding to contribute to this. These 4 invoices, which if you take the first one, the 26,000 amounts to $214,000, so this is, if I remember right, I have to somewhat concur with Kathy, it was a little higher than what I think was originally projected for the sewer costs.
Yeah, like I mentioned earlier, originally, all the conversation was, how much is it gonna be above and beyond what the loan was? So if the amount of money in the loan dropped, our out-of-pocket expenses, if you will, increased.
Right.
And I'm not sure, I think that might be what we're talking about, but what I wanna, and I guess obviously these bills haven't been paid yet.
Correct. I didn't.
What I'd like to see is a breakdown of what, you know, the total cost of the paving was for the sewer project, less what the town's contribution was and what we owe. I mean, I want to make sure that the town took care of their end of it, which was, what was the town's end?
600,000 to the whole.
Yeah,
bill.
but under the sewer, that 600 was the whole thing, but under the sewer aspect, the town, the town was gonna contribute 50,000. So if these 4 invoices, which say sewer 26, including this one that says 26,191, a total up to 214, less 50, that the town was gonna contribute,
Okay,
we're on the hook for, for 165,000. So
Okay.
that's what Steve is asking, which
Right.
the 3 of us really need to see.
yes, you do.
Or he may have already paid the 50.
He may have,
We
I
don't
have
know.
no
So
idea.
There's $50,000,
Right.
and it isn't clear to me what's going on with that $50,000.
I'll make sure we have that.
And I think you just get it and, send it to us and,
Yeah.
go ahead and pay it. We don't have to, I don't wanna hold them up getting paid. They did the work they expected. And that's sort of an internal thing. That's not Brock's fault, but.
Well, I wouldn't mind seeing what the total job costs for everything, and then subtract out what the sewer cost is, and have it, and then subtract out the 50,000, because I'd like to see what percentage of this road we really are paying for.
Well, it sort of works the opposite, because the town share was a fixed cost of $50,000.
Right.
And our share was whatever wasn't included in the 50,000.
In our stretches of roadway, and then the rest of it is what got billed to, to the town.
Well, I can always ask Don what the total amount of the road
Yeah, I
cost
guess we need a
was.
little, I mean, it's obviously these people have to be paid, but we need a little more information, and I'm sure if Carl was here, he could explain it, but that part of it's not clear to me
Follow
right
up with
now.
that, with Don on that other issue too.
Just pass our concerns on to Carl.
I did contact DES a couple weeks ago also to find out if they needed to do any final reviews or inspection on the paperwork of the project, and they did. Brian Hilliard and Kathy Bray met with Alan for the paperwork. My understanding is everything's pretty good. Kathy mentioned that maybe there was one or two arrows missing. She didn't tell me which ones they were, so I'm waiting to get more information on that.
Okay.
But otherwise, it sounds like we're in good shape on the
Mhm.
paperwork.
Right, and I think I had sent you all an email
You
saying.
did.
they were
Thank you.
here.
Yeah, they were here and they went through, they spent about, I think you said an hour.
An hour.
Yep.
Mhm.
Are we still holding retainage from Cardillo?
Yes.
And that document you have with you releases the retainage?
No, it doesn't.
Does it have any effect on the retainage?
No, it's just a certificate of final completion. I mean, they can request final retainage. And they sent me an email last week asking if they could bill for that. And I indicated that there may be a couple documents missing. So they wanted them to hold off until I got the information from DES.
Wasn't there a 1-year clock on the retainage?
Yeah, that's up.
Okay.
When did the clock start? When substantial completion, before we paved?
September 19th last year.
Yeah.
So technically, they were already beyond that 1-year retainage period,
Okay.
but they haven't invoiced yet.
Well, technically, we could have said substantial completion was when the paving was done.
We had that.
Well, the
We had that
paving's outside
discussion,
of it,
yeah.
and that was agreed upon anyways.
Yeah, that's true.
The other issue is the service line that was reconstructed by DPW. Ellen sent me the cost breakdown for that, for DPW's work, and the plan was to send that over to Cardillo. And either they'll pay it, or I guess it gets deducted from their
Retainage. I thought we had a discussion on that way back then. I thought you broached that with them way back when.
6,000, is that about the 6,000?
I wanted to
was
get
that-
the signatures first, before I stir up the pot.
How much is the retainage?
53,000?
Something like
Yeah,
that.
53,000, I think.
Okay. But,
And the repairs were 6,000
6,000
change, as I
bucks, yeah.
recall. 6,500,
So that's gotta be resolved before you release the retainage.
absolutely.
Yeah.
The other thing that we need to do, that I need to do, is contact their bonding company and get a signed document, it's called a surety's release.
right.
So that they can, just so that you're covered and there's nothing hanging out there as far as claims.
And they supplied you with documents that they paid all the subcontractors and everything, everyone's been paid?
We're in the process of getting the liens right now,
Well,
or the lien waivers.
Release of retainage.
And that's also part of the surety's consent.
So most of your engineering work is basically paperwork right now?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's all paperwork.
And is that true with DPW, what more engineering work do you think you have down there?
There's no more engineering, we're all done.
You all done? Okay, so we won't be seeing any more engineering bills for Mass Road, probably?
No.
Well,
Of
no,
any
it was-
substantial-
It was gonna be from him.
No, okay.
Yeah,
Right.
and we're pretty close to wrapping up, so.
I'm hoping to God, Kathy.
I just keep seeing these $1,000 invoices come trickling in, for engineering work from here and there, and I'm just, where we're down to lines, I just
Well,
want
what's the deal on the striping? Is that,
That's all marked.
Yeah, I don't,
I mean, we expected to, whose responsibility is it paying for the striping?
that I have no idea.
I understood DPW was picking all that.
I'm an under the pavement guy.
Yeah. I understood they were. gonna
You're an
pick it up.
underground guy, aren't you?
We need to have a discussion with Carl on
Yeah,
that.
why don't we find out about that too? That was the way I remember it. but-
I have, going back to these Brock's invoices, I have a question here. It says here that they bid at $565, the current is $625. So they're billing us over the bid amount?
You have in every contract now, you have asphalt and fuel adjustments.
Yeah.
Because of the, because it changes almost on a daily basis, so the contractor,
So they have like a 10% overage?
it's based on indexes. DOT has their own indexes, and it's, it's based on when it was bid, what the cost per gallon is, and then what the cost per gallon is for asphalt when it's put down.
Because there's
Same
so
as for
much-
fuel.
There's so much fuel involved with making the asphalt and getting it here.
Yeah, fuel went down this summer.
Yeah, but at the time it's made and put in, it
Going back.
goes back up.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying that as just saying,
Yeah, he basically puts in like a base bid, if you will, and then if
based
the
upon
liquid asphalt goes up, he adds it on, and sometimes it goes down.
Right.
It doesn't always go up, sometimes it goes down.
Right.
And that's common in all these paving things that I've ever seen, because, he bids out his paving a year ahead of time, and a lot of things can happen in the oil industry in a year.
You think? How about in a week?
Yeah, well,
Look, you
you
don't live in
understand
California.
it.
Whoosh,
There you go.
I'd be making a lot more money.
And spending a lot more too.
Yeah, no kidding.
Could you check with Carl on these, and ask Carl if he'd like to meet with us, and just, we
Sure.
could do a workshop just to kind of go over this, versus ferrying information back and forth, if that's more
Sure.
conducive to him.
I'd be game for that. I think
Yeah.
that'd be a good idea.
Sit down and just kind of
Yeah.
talk it
Do you
through.
have any kind of a time frame you wanna?
Usually late afternoons are great, 3, 4 o'clock or something like that.
I
just kinda
can't
sit
do
down and
next
go through it.
Friday.
Even here, he's got one at 6:07,
Yeah, I saw that.
and he's
Yeah.
got a one at 6:25,
Right, so,
two at 6:25, so even here,
he's got 3 at 6:25 and 1.
yeah, so one of it went up, went up somewhere while he was doing the work, it changed. But that's common, Kathy, that's,
Yeah, thank you for explaining that. That really makes a lot of sense because the fluctuation of the cost to make asphalt.
Actually went down to there.
That's good. That's good to know.
And I had forwarded you as far as the loan goes. I have no idea when the payment will be due because they're gonna finalize everything.
Right, all the paperwork and everything has to be done. and-
Right, so,
Well, we were going to be really, really, really conscientious, and we were going to send our money based upon the proposed payment plan and get it taken care of. And I said, Dylan, maybe you ought to give him a call before you send it up there to see, because we didn't have an invoice. And sure enough, she called up there, and everybody's in motion, and they just said, wait a minute, we'll get it all finalized, we'll send you an invoice. And, they know the money's waiting here, which I think prompted them coming down here. I don't know, but very possibly to look at the records, because I'm sure the state would love to grab that $180,000 that we have ready to pay for them, so.
So as I understand it from Mike, you're not in a position to recommend release of retainage at this point until we have, make sure we have
Well, we
all
need
the
to get all the
paperwork.
lien waivers collected.
That's what I mean, lien waivers collected,
We need to get the-
resolve on this, sewer service
Right.
connection, and, okay, that's fine,
Yeah,
Is it
that's
something
the
where
only
you-
leverage you have left, so.
right.
Is it something where you could possibly just deduct it out of the retainage check and let them come back at you for it?
Okay. Sure,
And just throw the ball in their court and see what they want to do about it?
you can do that.
why do we want to
But
sign the
final completion.
the final completion, if this, all this other stuff is still in play.
Well, it's a good point.
Because I can hear him now, well, you signed it, there's nothing
Yeah.
else to talk about, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know Bill would make that argument, so.
No, yes, definitely, so I think once we have that all resolved, the change release, I'd be more than willing to sign anything towards final
Yeah, that's a
completion,
good
but
point.
at this point, not yet.
And if you get it resolved in a
Yeah.
couple of weeks and they want us to, you know, come in one at a time and sign it, we can do that.
Yeah.
Doesn't have to go to the next meeting, but
Right.
I see no upside for us signing it now.
Right. I would agree with that.
Okay, thanks.
Okay, so we're gonna set up a workshop to go over the,
It would be good to
Asphalt
sit
stuff
with
with-
Carl, I think that's the
with Carl,
best way,
and-
best way to explain it.
Carlos, what time? It has to be after 4 for you, is it?
Yeah.
That works best for me. I can make it earlier if,
Okay, we'll try and
If need be.
accommodate what, you know,
okay, thank you.
yeah.
Okay, do we have anything else?
Do you want to okay the minutes
I
of
was
August
just
7th?
gonna say, we did
So-
miss some minutes.
Just the one page there.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of August 7th.
A second.
All in favor?
I just wanted to make one quick statement about the finances.
Yep.
Finances, I'm running parallel with them, and there are a couple of issues I'm working with downtown, but all in all, the lines are agreeing 99% of the time, so I think that's great.
That's good.
And
Good.
we're able,
Thank you.
what's good about running this parallel is that there are some issues that sometimes we do put it into the wrong account. That's gonna save us auditing money at the end of the year. If we just watch it, then we won't have to have all the corrections, and auditors base a lot of their charges on how many corrections they have to make into somebody's financials. So I think this is beneficial, and then we know exactly where we are when it comes to planning our budget, so.
Excellent, thank you for taking that on.
And I just have one more quick thing. Of the 19 Knollcrest accounts, because the final billing went out in September,
Yep.
13 of them are paid completely. And the redemption notices have been recorded at the register and copies sent to the owners.
Well, that's good, being proactive again. You got 'em on the move.
Quite a commission.
You have anything else?
Nope.
Okay, I guess I'll make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Second that motion.
All
Wait.
in favor?
Oh, aye.
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.